Salutations, Sultans. Al-Ajdar, Mesopotamia, spring 1918. The Great War engulfs the globe. In the deserts of the Middle East, Arab tribes rebel against their historical oppressor, the Ottoman Empire. To counter the uprising, the Ottomans deploy their most advanced technologies. The empire's devastating artillery, combat aircraft, and armored vehicles engaged rebel forces wielding rifles from horseback. T.E. Lawrence, an unconventional British officer, works with a small force of highly mobile rebels. They cannot confront the Ottoman forces head-on. Instead, they must fight another way. Hey, thanks for joining me, and this is the first of a series called... Well, you'll see what it's called. I guess the header hasn't run yet.
Desert. A vast ocean of drifting sands and scorched, sun-baked rocks. Beneath these endless dunes, oil, the lifeblood of our new mechanical century. For more than 400 years, the Ottoman Empire has ruled these lands, controlling all that's to be found here. But the Ottomans do not rule unopposed. Small bands of Bedouin rebels have united to overthrow the empire. They strike without warning and then vanish into the desert. Fighting alongside them is a lone British officer, whose exploits have earned him wide renown. The world has taken to calling this man Lawrence of Arabia. In the desert, you rely on good planning, but you also hope for a dash of luck. And luck was with us when we learned of a recently derailed Ottoman train carrying a most interesting piece of cargo. A small patrol had joined the Ottomans who survived the crash. Together, they guarded the wreckage and waited for reinforcements.
I don't imagine the narration is lifted directly from 7 Pillars of Wisdom, but the developers of this game definitely watched the 1960s movie Lawrence of Arabia, starring Peter O'Toole as Thomas Edward Lawrence. I say that because the derailed train ahead of us just smacks of that movie. Anyhow, they're both based on the same subject anyway, so perhaps it's just coincidence. Nevertheless, Lawrence of Arabia, it's a worthwhile watch. I've seen it a couple times, but no time recently, unfortunately. It also stars Obi-Wan Kenobi, or Alec Guinness. He plays Prince, I think it's Faisal. Excuse me, Faisal.
The tribesmen fought unconventionally.
I can't remember if it's Emil. I think that's his first name. I really should have looked this up before I did the video, but oh well. Yeah, point being, Obi-Wan Kenobi's in it too, albeit without his force powers. So, as far as Lawrence is concerned, he was initially stationed in Egypt, then moved further out east, to a small town that I don't recall the name of, but in and around this town, the Germans were laying railroad tracks, and British intelligence asked Lawrence to keep an eye on that, keep them appraised of the situation, and thus began his career as a spy. In addition to being a spy, he was a guerrilla leader, and of course an author, writing the book 7 Pillars of Wisdom. Which, his memoirs, that's really how his reputation was built. Although some historians look at those with a very skeptical view, the allegation being that he elaborated or exaggerated his tale.
There's a world of difference between seeing something.
However, it makes for good entertainment, and so too does the movie. So I mentioned Prince Faisal, portrayed by Alec Guinness in the movie. And Faisal, he was leading the Bedouin Rebellion when Lawrence met him. And they developed a close relationship. In fact, there was a time where the British wanted him recalled. That is to say, they wanted Lawrence recalled, but Faisal really spoke on his behalf and demanded that he stay. And of course, Lawrence did. Faisal was kind of a contradiction, because, you know, here he was, leading the rebellion anyway, but twice during the war, he pleaded with the Ottomans, or approached the Ottomans. He approached General Pasha, in fact, the man that I mentioned in the Suez video. And more or less, he said, you know, I'll hang it up. I'll end this rebellion if you can carve me out a piece of your empire. Pasha was an arrogant man. After all, he was one of the 3 dictators of the Ottoman Empire. They called them the 3 Pashas, and he was one of them. Pasha declined Faisal's offer. That was that. Looks like we found what we were looking for.
No, it's over.
But as the Ottoman says, it's over.
Well, you did not think we would be fast enough to catch you here, did you? Lawrence of Arabia.
Actually, I was rather depending on it.
Lawrence.
Lawrence, that's a common mispronunciation.
Now the hunter becomes the hunted. So who might you be? How enchanting you are, my dear.
Ahmed.
I'll show you enchanting. If it weren't for you, I'd be free.
Free, is it? You'll be free when you're dead. And I'm happy to tell you, the Empire intends to grant you all this freedom very soon. Even now, an engine of destruction scours this desert, obliterating your allies, your families, your homes. Soon there will be nowhere to run. Nowhere to hide. Soon all that you know, and all that you love, will be ashes. You will all be free to die. Oh. Ah, you animal!
Zara. Now, I understand that you would like nothing more than to strip the flesh from that man's feet and send him off into the desert naked to die. But think about it.
Right.
I'm sorry. My friend here, she can be a little brusque.
You're going to tell me how to lie to your train, so we can lure it into a trap and destroy it.
Impossible. To even begin to talk to that train, you would need an entire book of communication codes.
Oh, like this one, you mean?
You can never stop the progress of machines. One day, the whole world will take your lands and the precious black gold beneath its sands.
So that'll about do it for this video. Again, I'm Automatic for Automatic Games. Thanks for watching. If you like this, and as usual, I will talk to you soon, friends.